Okay, so we made a little D C shape here out of the diagram we had. Remember, you'll be able to do this on your own on the guitar fretboard. So just to get any ambiguities out of the way, and by the way, in the key of D, all right, I would have to remove my capo because we want to be able to play this 7 and this 3. In the key of D, that'll be a C sharp, and the third is an F sharp, so that C sharp would be here below your fret nut. It sounds like taps. You can't play those notes. Okay, so there, the D would be. And notice it goes 2, 3, 4 on the top. The fourth of D is this G right here. And I don't play it like this. You don't play it a 4/7. You play a regular major 4 without the 7th. If you wanted to go to the 5th of D, we look at the shapes. D, we go 1, 4, 5. That would be A, and would also be a shape in the D cage. So the A shape would be its 5th, which would be the 2nd, the 5th, and the 7th of D. So 2nd, the 5th, and the 7th is the C sharp in the key of D. Like that. That's if this is the E on the bottom. Low E. Low E. So let's go backwards and put our chart back the way it was. Bing, bing. Do we have enough? Oh, we don't have enough backwards, so we'll have to backwards the chart and forward again. We only have like 5 changes in the buffer. So here's our chart again. This is the versatile chart, and I wanted to speak about this, about finding the modal chords within this chart. Now this chart is twice as good as just this chart. It's got twice as many notes. Why do we need that? Why do we need twice as many notes? Let's try to find all the modal chords in this chart first. Root 3, 5. Here's root 3, 5. Okay, let's just see if we can find everything right here. So we'll do it in root. Let's do it in root. Root 3, 5, and then we've got 2, 4, 6 is the D minor. So we got 2 there. Wait, where's our 4? We don't have a 4 to go to. We'd have to go to an on-string 4 to 6 like that. And then for 3, 5, 7, which is in the key of C, it's E, G, B, right? 3, 5, 7's here. We can start down there. No, we can't go anywhere. Okay, we can do a little 3, 5, 7 right there. That's not bad. You know, it's just a pattern. You know, so that's how it goes with just the string patterns. But if we look at this diagram here, because we need to see the intercage relationships between the string shapes. So we need to see that C and A share the 5. We need to see that G and E string shapes share the 7 root, like that. D and C shapes share the 3, 4, just like that, like they were one note. A and G shapes share the 6 only. They don't share 2 notes there. There's bookend isolation between the shared notes. So the 5 being the shared note between C and A, there's bookend isolation right there. Okay, the E and the D share the 2 note, and the C and the A share the 5 note again, because I listed them like that just so we can make sure we could see every possible relationship Okay, so you'll see me putting the same one there on the end if there's room. Now when we want to count root 3, 5, we can start a root here, root 3, 5 right there. Now I could continue, or we could talk about how we're going to play it. Let's just continue for a little while. Here's 2, 4, 6. Gosh, that's just right up the fret there. This is just a whole step up. 2, 4, 6 root. Now we want 3, 5, 7. Well, we could start that here. 3, 5, 7. We got that. And if this warps over, it would be 3, 5 straight up to a 7. The Lydian 4, 6 root. We got all of it right here in one diagram, right? Again, 5, 7, 2. Pretty much everything looks the same. We've got this third interval here, and then we've got a minor interval to a major interval. If we're looking at this as a pattern is not tuning third adjusted. It's all perfect fourths. So there's perfect fourths in between each of these note numbers. Root goes to a 4, for example. Okay, all perfect fours. Root goes to a 4 there. 5 would go to root there. 6 goes to 2. 2 goes to 5. 5 goes to root. Sounds like a song. Excuse me. So yeah, yesterday I got like a little had a little reoccurrence of my cough. So it says follow patterns through the tuning third. That's just a reminder, but they're all perfect fourths tuning right here. So we can make these little arpeggios. Let's say we wanted to start on this 6. So it's 6 root 3 for the A minor in the key of C, but for the 6th minor, 6 root 3, 6 root 3. So we've got all of the modes there in these two drawings. And now I almost forgot what we were going to do once we, saw where they are. How are we going to play them, and how are we going to associate these numbers with their string patterns? So maybe we go back to this drawing here and we'll look and see, well, it's maybe a little simpler. They're only shared by 2 patterns. And I can tell you that when we're doing arpeggios, and let's zoom out a second because we got the right chart for this one. Oh yeah. So here's the arpeggio chart. Remember this? Does anybody remember this from about 20 lessons ago? And that is, we have 3 fretboards here. These 3 fretboards line up with this one. Okay, so here's a 4th, and the 4th is pretty much there. Alright, and here's the 4th is pretty much there. So they pretty much line up. In these diagrams, it pays to line things up. Sorry, they're not exactly lined up, but these are exactly lined up. So this is a 4th, and this is the 3rd on the bottom here of all of them. So they all line up. They're all fretboards. The top fretboard covers the root, the Ionian arpeggios, and the minor Dorian arpeggios, and then where the 7th is added to the light purple, it becomes the Locrian 7th, half diminished arpeggio, but it's a 7/7. It's a 7th 7. What does that mean? Here's the 7, and the 7th of the 7th is the 6th of the root. Okay, that's all that is. Moving on to the next, we have the Phrygian minor and the Lydian 4th. And notice they don't mix. This is why these two are good to put together. And then we have the Mixolydian major and the Aeolian 6th in the same fretboard. They do not mix. There is no sharing of notes between Mixolydian and Aeolian, or Phrygian and Lydian, or root and Dorian. So they're good to put together in these 3 keyboards. We're going to find those shapes and those string patterns.